Huh, cool. A Return to Dreamland remake. It's not that big of a deal.
Return to Dreamland! Return to Dreamland! Return to Dreamland!
Okay, I might be a little excited. If you somehow didn't hear my screams of happiness destroy the sound barrier, a couple days ago we got a new Nintendo Direct on September 13th. While in retrospect it did have some great announcements and updates like Pikmin 4, Bayonetta 3, Splatoon 3, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and some others, for me and many others, the pacing and the order of the game shown made the live experience feel awful. But one game saved the Direct and left the biggest impression to a lot of people, me included, and that game is Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. A full remake of Kirby's Return to Dreamland for the Wii, or Kirby's Adventure Wii if you're European. Well, not anymore. But before we actually discuss the game, we need some background on why this reveal is so crazy. 2022 is the 30th anniversary of the Kirby series, and how the company responsible of Kirby since the 20th anniversary, they have always done great anniversaries with new games, merch, events and more. And this year was no different. Starting the year we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land, the first mainline 3D platformer, which was an easy 10 out of 10 Game of the Year masterpiece, review coming soon I swear. Then we got Kirby's Dream Buffet, which was a great and unique spin-off full of charm. We got a live concert which was streamed for all to see for free, it was also amazing, still sad they took it off, and tons of merch. Still need a Willy Rider plushie please. So while we wanted one more thing like a collection or something like that, everyone knew in their hearts nothing Kirby was left for the year. I'm so sorry I doubted you. Kirby's Return to Dreamland might seem like just a good Kirby game to some, but this game completely changed the formula and was so good it set the foundation for all new mainline 2D games in the series. Being more personal, this game might be one of, if not my favorite game of all time. So seeing it be remade from what it seems to be from the ground up brings me joy in a way I can't express in words. But what I can do is use my stupidly big knowledge of this game to analyze the little info we got and give my thoughts about this remake. Starting with the biggest difference and the most controversial difference, the graphics. The original had a very clean and simple cartoony art style, nothing crazy but still feeling very Kirby. Deluxe on the other hand goes for a semi-pop-up picture book style, not really on the background and foregrounds which still keeps some of the original style, just with more detail, but rather on all the characters and enemies, specifically with dark outlines on all of them. Note they are not all black lines but rather a darker color than the one from the character, being more clear on characters like Kirby. While everyone can agree it's a cute callback to two of the old Kirby GCN prototypes, not everyone loves it. Maybe it's because it makes the character feel out of place, it's too different from the original, or just because they don't like how it looks. There are some solid reasons for people disliking how the game looks. Now for me though, it looks f***ing amazing. I love the outlines, I love the shading, I love how many extra details were added while also keeping every detail from the original. I love that they didn't just took stylized assets making this game feel completely unique. I love the updated cutscenes that look stunning and smooth, making the original feel stiff in comparison. I love how Ultra Sword makes the enemies crash the screen. I love how the Another Dimension stages are completely white and black while still keeping the atmosphere that the original gives, and I love all the slight upgraded designs like Meta Knight's mask being more sharp, Bandana D's spear having a yellow string, and the proportion of the face compared to the body look better, Kirby looks rounder, and DDD. I mean, they finally decided on a look for him, but at what cost? This bigger Club Penguin-ass design does have many fans, but I am not one of them. I would say it's the only thing that looks straight up worse than the original. This is going to get pretty nitpicky and specific, but listen to me here. Diddy's personality was very different from what we know today. Before, he was tough, big guy with a kind soul. Basically a nicer Bowser. Kirby Rebecca Chancellor Mashuro's Brawl changed him to still have a strong energy, but leaning much closer to his goofy / funny side. This change can have its own video on its own, if it's good or a bad thing, but either way, Return to Dreamland also followed this path, giving DDD a much bigger head to body ratio while also making him smaller to fit with the other characters and the level design. And even still he barely fits some spaces. But what really made it special was all the incredible expressions during both gameplay and cutscenes. It really made DDD feel different to the other characters and gave this old character a new life. Now looking over at Deluxe, DDD takes the design from Forgotten Land, which itself is an updated version of the Kirby 64 design. This design does not fit this game. DDD looks too fat, much rounder, and his face is way smaller than his belly, which is not a bad thing by itself as seen in Forgotten Land, but he's still the same size as the original. It just doesn't feel right. It's like they made a DDD model and just downscaled him, making it look uncanny. And we don't see much of his super expressive animations, but as this one scene is showing us how he will look, yeah, it's not hard to see how the smaller head doesn't make his expression pop out like it did in the original. This face looks determined, while this face looks slightly annoyed. We'll have to see how some of the funnier cutscenes play out. So I'm still giving it hope that HAL will still find a way to keep the energy of the original. And being honest, from a technical side, things like the hat and the fur of the coat look great. It's just that I don't like the overall design. But who knows, DD's design will probably look completely different on the next game after this one. DD design aside, I'm really liking how it looks, and I can't wait to see how areas like White Wafer look or how other bosses will look. That's the biggest topic of the remake so far, but aside from this being a visual upgrade, it also changes some gameplay aspects, the biggest being a brand new ability called Mecha. We don't see much of it or which enemy gives you the ability in the first place, but we can see some moves like a standard shot which can be charged, a dash attack, and this crazy looking move. The existence of a new ability being introduced to this game is amazing, and it looks fun too. But I do have one concern. This game was not built around with this ability in mind, so I hope it doesn't feel too out of place. That normally would require level design changes, but that would make it unfaithful to the original. I think it can work if they are clever on when they give you the ability. Show it when there's not many abilities normally or before a boss. Again, I fear that unless they think about it really hard, it will feel unnatural. Either way, I think it will be a fun addition that doesn't seem to take away from the original intention. Unlike some other abilities. A change that not many people notice is that in this clip where you can see everyone fighting Wispy Woods, Meta Knight actually uses Galactic Counter from Star Allies. For those that don't know, in Star Allies' final update, they gave the Return to Dreamland Dream Friend trio new moves. Diddy's got his classic Super DDD jump, Bandana D got a super cool sweep attack called Ground Thrust, and finally Meta Knight got this move called Galactic Counter, working just as you think it does. This move was not in the original game, so seeing it here might mean that the other characters also have their new moves from that update, and even some other moves added in later games, like the aerial spin attack or the head slide. It also made me remember that this game had some moves that got caught on newer games, so hopefully those moves are still in the game. If that's the case, Fire will finally be fun again. The other big addition aside from Mecha is some more sub-games. We see Ninja Dojo from the original, but we also see 4 new ones, a 4-player version of Samurai Kirby from Superstar, which was also Nightmare in Dreamland, which also had a 4-player option, a single-screen version of Smash Ride from Squeak Squad, Bomb Rally also from Nightmare in Dreamland, and a new minigame called Magolor's Tomb Trucker, which we don't know much, but from the few things we can see, I bet Magolor will show a specific book and the first Kirby to get the exact copy gets a point, which seems like a fun idea, but I do have some questions. First, how will Ninja Dojo work? Will it still require shaking the controller or will it just be a button now? And speaking about that, what will happen to the Super Inhale? We know it's in the game as seen in this small clip. Will it work like it does in future games with Kirby inhaling for a bit and then doing a super inhale? I hope that's not the case. That would make some sections way slower and harder. Then it's a different button. Probably not, as we see Kirby transition from a normal inhale to a super one. Then my best guess is that it will work similar to the original, shaking the controller or by mashing the D-pad. I bet some of you didn't know that you could do that in the original. If there even is motion controls anymore. I can see handheld mode might be a reason for HAL not to include them, but at least give us the option. I want to shake! That also leads us to another question. Where is Scope Shot? It's probably in the game and it will most likely have gyro controls, right stick or maybe even touch controls in handheld mode. But either way, the Switch doesn't have pointing controls, which made that original game so fun and snappy to play. There are still ways to get it to work on the Switch, but the original will probably still be the best version for that specific minigame. And another question, where do we find these games? In the original, all of the minigames can be found on the main menu and on Mauler's ship. Seeing as how there were 2 minigames before and now there are 5, 6 if you count Scope Shot, Mauler's ship will either be greatly expanded or maybe these minigames will have a new home? Perhaps this Mauler theme park like structure that we see in the background of the title screen? And speaking of that mysterious place, you haven't seen challenge stages. Those will probably still be Mauler's ship, but maybe this theme park is the one from Dream Collection, where you can play the new challenge stages from said game. It sounds like maximum copium, and it is, but that would make it so Europeans can finally play these stages officially for the first time, since Dream Collection didn't release there. It would also complete Kirby's return to Dreamland, seeing as how that mode was basically a direct follow-up, with its own story of Mauler making a theme park to redeem himself. That would be good to include that piece of lore into the game and actually expand on it. I always felt like Mauler liking to build theme parks came from out of nowhere, so maybe introducing the theme park from early on to then unlock the new challenge stages once you beat the main story as an epilogue would be amazing. Again, this is all unlikely, but I feel like HAL is crazy enough to do it. And if they are complete maniacs, maybe, just maybe, there's a slight chance of this game becoming absolutely perfect. I'm talking about online multiplayer. This game is already amazing on single player, but if you get a group of people to play this game with you, it's a completely different beast. I would argue this is the best multiplayer in any Kirby platformer. It's quick, it's easy, it doesn't take away from the normal experience. You get to choose from 3 great characters with limited movesets, or a different color Kirby which has access to every ability. And seeing how this remake has so many minigames, it will be even more fun. But sadly, not many people can enjoy that part of the game since it didn't have any online component. You could play it online with the help of things like Parsec on PC, but that thing can be hard to set up. So I think giving this game online multiplayer would be incredible. But as of this video, we don't know if it will. The trailer only mentions local co-op, but the webpage on the Nintendo Store says it supports online play. It doesn't say what online play means. It can be only for minigames or to share scores, or here's the copium, full online multiplayer. I mean, HAL has experience with online before with things like Forest 2 and Dream Buffet, but never in a mainline game for co-op. But on the other hand, 3D World was also in a similar place with the trailer not mentioning online co-op for it to be discovered weeks after being announced. See the problem? There are way too many reasons for it to have online co-op and many reasons for it to not have it. For now, we'll just have to wait. And I think that's pretty much it for now. I can talk about every single small change, like with Wing having a slight redesign, but that will become very boring very fast. So for now, that's all I can talk about. Overall, this game is looking great. Just like Superstar Ultra, I can feel this game just going to expand on ideas, add a ton of content, while still keep the core of what made the original adventure so fun. And that to me is the perfect type of remake. Don't change too much, but also don't let everything stay the same. And from what we are seeing, that seems like just what they're doing. Return to Dreamland is such a great game, and it completely deserves the great remake it's getting. A perfect way to end this Kirby 30th anniversary celebration. But before I end the video, I did promise one thing. Dude, I'm doing this right now. If there's a new Kirby game here, of any kind, I will play like every mainline Kirby game in like 2 streams, like back to back. I should really learn how to shut up. That's all from me. I hope the Kirby gods can spare me, and I'll see you on the next ride.